Today I want to talk to you about potentially a really dull subject, but also an absolutely essential one which you're all going to bump up against in some respect, and that is memory cards and how much you need and what you need to function within your camera. And for the most part, I will be talking about using the Pyxis 6K, but also this will cascade onto the Pyxis 12K, which I'm just about to receive. So that camera system is using CF Express Type B cards, and the ones that I'm choosing to use at the moment are from Wise. They are 2 terabytes, and I have 4 of these currently. And that means I've got 8 terabytes of CF Express Type B storage, which I'll be able to use across the Pyxis 6K and the Pyxis 12K. Now currently I think that the Wise CF Express Type B cards up to 1 terabyte are confirmed to work on the Pyxis 12K. Now currently I haven't had a chance to test out all of the frame rates and bit rates with my 2 terabyte cards, so I will hold judgment on whether those will actually function for 3:1 at 12K at whichever open gate frame rate I happen to be working. So that's something that needs to be confirmed. But so far on all of the projects which I have been using this on, I've actually found them to be great, and that's all you really want from a memory card. You want something which is going to work for the projects that you're shooting, not cause you any issues, have plenty of it, so have lots of storage, so you're able to write your projects and not worry about running out, and also be able to write within the capabilities of your camera. So certain things you can't do if the media is not fast enough. For example, you may be capped on which frame rate you can get to at a certain compression ratio depending on the speed of your media. Now looking at the cards that I've got just here, they are 3,500, I can never remember, megabits I think, not megabytes per second, and that is for read, and 3,000 for write. So they are very, very fast cards. Now Wise actually sent me out a couple of their CF Express B readers as well. I have 2 of these, and I've tried a few different readers over the years, and what I've actually found, when you get to the stage that you're dealing with media which is writing and reading large amounts of data very, very quickly, you actually want to go with a reader which has a little bit more thermal capacity to it. So if you're getting a reader and it's made of plastic, and when you touch it, it kind of feels warm, but it doesn't ever feel hot, that's probably a bad sign, because it probably means that it's not effectively dissipating the heat when you're doing tasks where you're reading off lots of data very, very quickly. It's not dissipating the heat very effectively. Now thermals are going to be one of the things on a piece of media which is essentially static. It doesn't have moving parts as such. It's one of the points of failure. So if you're constantly heating it up beyond its recommended operating temperature and the reader isn't able to dissipate that, and this is just my take on it, but in the long term you may then find that that is one of the things which is going to influence whether your media continues to work for a few years or fails all of a sudden. So having a reader like this, which actually when you touch it, it's made of metal and you can feel the heat that's being emanated from the card and being dissipated by this enclosure. So speed of offload is definitely something which I'm concerned with. Now I would say that I have another CF Express Type B reader, which is this PGY Tech one, which is actually really cool. It is sort of a combined holder and reader. It has slots for CF Express Type B cards on the back, it has slots for SD cards on the front, and it also has a little mobile phone pop-out tool just there for your SIM cards or whatever, and it has a load of micro SD card slots. Now on the side you do have a CF Express and an SD card reader with that, and then there's a little USB-C cable which is integrated into it, and it has actually got a USB-C slot somewhere, yes, just there as well, so you could connect that up in that fashion. It's ruggedized, it's nice to have all my media on place. I do like this as a solution for carrying my media onto shoots and then knowing what I've got, making sure that it's all offloaded correctly and all the rest of it. But I will say that when I'm offloading from this one, I do notice that it doesn't dissipate the heat as well as the Wise reader just here. So although this feels more basic in one respect, I think it's actually probably the superior reader because of the way that it's dissipating that heat and the fact it's got the metal enclosure. What I would like to do with this actually is, and I'm probably going to try and do this today, stick a couple of neoprene pads on it so that it doesn't scrape around as much, because being an all metal enclosure, having those pads on there just means that it's going to sit a little bit nicer on my desk, have a little bit more grip and not skid around, you know, if I move my laptop or something. So yeah, that's the one thing which I'll probably mod on this. But apart from that, it's a basic thing. It is a simple reader and it does the job really nicely. And like I say, using 2 of those to be able to offload everything really, really fast to my big storage. So these cards have come with me all over the world on shoots. I've taken them to Amsterdam, taken them to America, I've taken them to, goodness, where was I last week? I was in Milan. So doing Fashion Week with these. That is a really high pressure environment. You know, I'm recording an hour of a show and then having to offload everything super, super fast and then turn around the edits that same day. And same with London Fashion Week, running from one show to the next. So having enough storage, having it be really fast, have it be really reliable, being able to populate cameras with all of that storage and know that I've got enough to run on several shoots back to back is important. Next up for these big shoot wise is going to be in Ireland for a sort of food documentary shoot, which is a week long, and I'm hoping with the storage that I now have, I'm going to be able to run the entire week without having to overwrite any of the cards. So we'll be backing up as we go, but then I'm going to be able to keep each card with the original footage on until I'm able to then get back home, confirm everything is backed up, and then I can write the cards. Really, really nice position to be in, because when you're out on a shoot and you're having to offload things quickly, things potentially could be missed. Obviously, if you're in a position where you're able to do your DIT in a more measured fashion, and perhaps in that situation you're using software to offload and do a checksum verification of everything. But often I find the kinds of shoots that I'm working on, we don't have a dedicated DIT, we don't have someone working with one of the programs like Pom4 or Hedge or anything like that. It will just be the producer or the director who is taking it upon themselves to offload everything. Now, I personally like to do my own offload as well as my footage from my cameras, but often that isn't the whole thing. So that could put a little bit of pressure on everything, not knowing definitely when I go from one day to the next that they have successfully offloaded everything. So in that situation, I like to try and keep everything on these cards. I don't think really there's too much to talk about with this, and obviously I've spoken for a few minutes now, but if you do have any questions, drop them down below, and I'm going to be testing these out on the 12K when I get that next week, and updating everyone on how that's going, probably in a YouTube short rather than a full video. But yes, that is the Wise CF Express Type B cards. They do make a number of other memory card products as well, so check out their website, see if they've got something which is suitable for you, and they are pretty competitive on price within the landscape at the moment. Obviously, this can be a very expensive thing to get into if you're looking at terabytes and terabytes of storage. So finding a company which has reliable storage and also has competitively priced storage is something to grab hold of. So check them out, and if you've got those questions, drop them down below.